Would you please consider subscribing to my channel and giving my video a thumbs up? I'd really appreciate it.
Once upon a time, in a deep and peaceful forest, there lived a large, gentle bear named Father Bear. He was known as the wisest and kindest animal in the forest. Father Bear had 3 playful cubs, Benji, Bella, and Bobby. They loved playing in the woods, exploring new places, and listening to the stories their father told every evening by the warm fire in their cozy cave. Father Bear always taught his cubs important lessons about life. He would say, kindness is the strongest power, and wisdom is the greatest tool. We must always be gentle with others and respect the forest. The cubs loved hearing his advice, but like most young animals, they were eager for fun and adventure. One fine spring morning, the forest was full of the sounds of birds singing, leaves rustling, and the river flowing peacefully. The cubs decided they wanted to explore the farthest parts of the forest. They ran to Father Bear and asked him, "Father, may we explore beyond the big hill today? We've heard there's a beautiful meadow with bright flowers and soft grass." Father Bear, always cautious, looked at them with his kind eyes. "You may explore, my little ones, but remember the rules. Stay together, don't go too far, and come back before the sun sets. If you ever feel lost, follow the river, it will always guide you home." The cubs promised to be careful and quickly set off on their adventure, their tiny paws padding softly on the forest floor. They were excited to see new places, so they ran further than usual, laughing and playing along the way. The birds sang above them, and butterflies danced in the air. Everything felt magical. After a while, they came across the big hill and climbed to the top. Just as they had hoped, they saw the meadow on the other side, filled with the most beautiful flowers they had ever seen. The cubs rushed down the hill, rolling in the soft grass and chasing butterflies. Time flew by, and they forgot about Father Bear's advice to return before sunset. As the sun began to dip below the trees, the forest started to grow darker. The cubs suddenly realized they had wandered too far and had lost track of time. "Oh no," Benji exclaimed. "Father told us to be back before the sun sets. We've gone too far." Bella looked around, her ears twitching nervously. "We should head back now, but I don't know which way home is anymore. Everything looks the same." Bobby, the youngest cub, started to tremble. "What if we're lost?" he whispered. The cubs huddled together, trying to remember Father Bear's wise words. "He said to follow the river," Bella remembered. "But where is it?" They walked a little farther, and soon they heard the familiar sound of the river rushing through the trees. Relieved, they followed the riverbank, hoping it would lead them home. But as the night deepened, strange sounds echoed through the forest. The cubs grew scared, every rustling leaf making them jump. Meanwhile, back in the cave, Father Bear realized that his cubs had not returned. Worried, he set out to find them. The moon was beginning to rise, and the forest was slowly becoming dark and cold. Father Bear knew that the forest could be tricky to navigate at night, especially for his young cubs. With his strong legs, Father Bear moved quickly through the forest, calling out for Benji, Bella, and Bobby. His deep voice echoed through the trees, but there was no answer. He reached the top of the big hill, where he saw tiny paw prints leading toward the meadow. Father Bear followed the tracks, determined to find his little ones. As he moved through the dark woods, he thought about all the lessons he had taught his cubs. He trusted that they would remember his words and find their way back to safety. Still, the worry in his heart grew with each passing moment. Back at the river, the cubs were still walking, feeling tired and a little scared. The forest around them seemed much larger and darker than before. Just when they thought they couldn't walk any farther, they saw a light flickering in the distance. It was coming from a small clearing. "Look," Bobby said excitedly. "Maybe someone can help us." The cubs cautiously approached the clearing and saw an old owl sitting by a warm fire. The owl, with his wide eyes and wise face, looked up as the cubs arrived. "What brings you little ones here so late at night?" he asked in a calm voice. "We've lost our way," Benji explained. "We wandered too far from home, and now we can't find our way back." The owl nodded thoughtfully. "I see. You've been very brave to come this far, but it's important to listen to your father's advice. The forest is a big place, and it can be tricky at night. We're sorry, Bella said. We didn't mean to get lost. The owl smiled kindly. I understand. But don't worry, little ones. I'll help you find your way. The river leads home, but you must be patient and trust in your journey. With that, the owl flew ahead of them, guiding the way along the riverbank. The cubs felt safe with the owl leading them, and soon they began to recognize familiar parts of the forest. After what seemed like a long walk, they finally spotted their home, the cozy cave where Father Bear always waited for them. As they ran toward the cave, they saw a large figure approaching in the distance. It was Father Bear. His heart leapt with joy when he saw his 3 cubs running toward him. He knelt down and hugged them tightly. "Oh, my little ones. I was so worried about you," he said softly. "We're sorry, Father," Benji said. "We didn't mean to go so far. But we remembered what you told us about the river, and the owl helped us find our way." Father Bear smiled proudly. "I'm so glad you're safe. And I'm proud of you for remembering the lesson I taught you. Sometimes, even when we make mistakes, we can still find our way back by being wise and brave." The cubs felt relieved and happy to be back home, surrounded by their father's warm embrace. That night, they sat by the fire as Father Bear told them a new story, a story about bravery, wisdom, and how important it is to listen and learn. From that day on, the cubs never forgot Father Bear's advice. They continued to explore the forest, but they always stayed together, followed the rules, and returned before sunset. And whenever they did get into trouble, they trusted that the lessons their father taught them would guide them home. As for Father Bear, he knew that his cubs were growing wiser and stronger each day. He was proud of their courage and kindness, and he knew that one day, they too would become wise like him. And so, the forest remained a place of peace and harmony, where the cubs grew up learning the values of kindness, wisdom, and family. And Father Bear's stories and lessons lived on, passed down through the generations, reminding everyone that even in the biggest forests, love and wisdom will always light the way. The end.